Hello everyone, Joel here. Since the beginning of 2026, I haven't indulged your interest to the JRPGs, and I think this is a perfect time for it. For giving you something fresh, this time I will give you my recommendation for some of the best hidden gem JRPGs that are worth playing in 2026. Some of you might disagree with my list, but that's okay because at the end of the day, we all have our own opinion. Before we go into the list, I want to give you my recommendation for some of the best deals in instant gaming right now, especially if you're tight on budget. We knew that instant gaming always give us so many crazy deals for your favorite games, like these titles for example. I mean, can you believe these prices? If you love RPGs, there's no way you never heard of these masterpieces, and to think that you can get them under $10 or even $5, it's an absolute steal. All you have to do is just click my link in the description below, start searching for your favorite games and use the activation code on your chosen platform. By using my link, you're not only saving tons of money, but also helping me to support this channel. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Knights of Azure presents itself as a character-focused action JRPG built around emotional stakes. The story follows Arnis in a world shaped by a lingering curse, where personal loyalty and sacrifice drive the narrative forward. Its central hub structure supports a steady rhythm of story scenes, upgrades, and preparation, allowing character development to unfold naturally. Combat emphasizes fast, accessible action paired with a companion system that lets summoned servants support different approaches in battle. While enemy difficulty remains forgiving, progression systems, strong music, and consistent visual direction give the game a clear identity that appeals to players seeking atmosphere and narrative cohesion. Epic Battle Fantasy begins with the confidence of a series that fully understands its audience and purpose. What starts as a humorous, self-aware JRPG grows into a surprisingly well-structured turn-based experience built around clear mechanics and rewarding player choice. The story does not aim for drama, but its consistent tone and recurring characters create a familiar, comfortable world that evolves across entries. Combat is the core strength, focusing on visible enemy patterns, elemental interactions, and strategic skill use rather than grinding. Progression emphasizes customization through equipment, skills, and party setup, allowing experimentation. Its clarity, mechanical honesty, and steady refinement make the series easy to approach and consistently satisfying. Illusion Carnival leaves a strong impression through its striking art direction and energetic presentation. The game introduces a highly detailed world filled with intriguing lore, though its storytelling often struggles with clarity and pacing. Dialogue frequently shifts between large lore drops and exaggerated humor, which can make character identities feel inconsistent. Gameplay is simple and accessible, but the fast pace and constant screen movement can overwhelm, making combat and reading text harder than intended. Progression remains straightforward and the difficulty stays forgiving, limiting replay value. Despite technical issues and uneven writing, the creativity, music, and visible passion behind the project make it a worthwhile experience, especially as a free release. Felvidek does not ease players into its experience or attempt to appeal broadly. It immediately establishes itself as a focused, uncomfortable RPG rooted in historical grime, personal collapse, and deliberate tonal contrast. Set in a warped 15th century Central Europe, the game follows Pavol, a knight defined more by exhaustion and bitterness than heroism. Its world-building relies on sharp dialogue, unsettling events, and dense cultural texture rather than exposition. Gameplay progression is minimal, with combat kept mechanically simple and often restrictive, placing emphasis on resource awareness instead of builds or levels. What carries the experience is its striking hand-drawn art, exceptional soundtrack, and unwavering commitment to mood, making Felvidek memorable despite its uneven systems. Zwei the Ilvard Insurrection arrives with a clear sense of confidence, presenting a compact action RPG that values charm, tone, and personality. The story follows Regna and Alwyn through a light-hearted but purposeful adventure, supported by sharp localization and consistently expressive dialogue. Its world is intimate, built around floating islands and simple dungeon structures that emphasize pacing rather than exploration depth. Combat is straightforward, allowing quick character switching between melee and magic, while progression is driven by an unusual food-based leveling system that ties growth to preparation. Though repetitive in structure, Zwei's charisma, music, and character writing give it lasting appeal for fans of classic JRPG design. One way Heroics establishes its tension immediately by forcing every decision forward, never allowing hesitation or retreat. The world scrolls endlessly to the right as a lethal darkness consumes everything behind you, turning movement itself into a core mechanic. Its procedurally generated map ensures no two runs feel the same, while towns, allies, and events constantly test risk versus reward. Progression leans heavily on repeated failure, rewarding each attempt with permanent upgrades, new classes, and expanded options. Combat and survival systems remain simple but demanding, supported by hunger and stamina management. The result is a focused roguelike JRPG that values planning, momentum, and replayability over spectacle. Legends of Dragaea opens by clearly defining its goal, delivers steady progression without demanding constant attention. Set in a familiar high fantasy world, the game frames dungeon crawling and hero management through light narrative context that supports gameplay. Gameplay centers on automated combat, but meaningful decisions emerge through team composition, skill upgrades, artifacts, and dungeon selection. Progression is layered, allowing heroes to evolve over time while difficulty scales at a controlled pace. Visuals are clean and readable, and audio supports long sessions without fatigue. While repetition is inevitable, the balance between automation and strategy keeps the experience consistently engaging. SaGa's Scarlet Grey's Ambitions is a systems-driven JRPG that places mechanics and player decision-making above traditional narrative structure. Instead of towns, dungeons, or guided progression, the game presents a world map built around events and encounters that reward curiosity without holding the player's hand. Multiple protagonists offer different starting routes, but the experience is unified by its combat design, which emphasizes turn order control, resource management, formations, and situational awareness. Progression is intentionally opaque, encouraging experimentation rather than optimization. While demanding and often unforgiving, the game remains consistently fair. Its depth, strategic combat, and confident design make it one of the most satisfying entries in the SaGa series.
Oh, what a great feeling!
Small SaGa is a compact turn-based RPG built around a clearly defined setting and character-focused storytelling. Set beneath modern London, it follows Verm and his companions through a society of small creatures shaped by tradition, loss, and conflict. The narrative stays grounded in personal motivation, supported by humor, cultural references, and steady character development. Combat is accessible and mechanically clean, using energy-based actions and distinct party roles, though difficulty remains forgiving throughout. Progression comes through skill trees, equipment, and optional side content that adds texture without padding. Strong pixel art, thoughtful world design, and a varied soundtrack give the game a cohesive identity that carries the experience. Recettear takes a familiar RPG world and shifts the focus to something most games treat as background noise, the economy. Instead of chasing monsters for loot, you're trying to stay afloat by running an item shop under the pressure of escalating debt. It's a small twist with surprisingly large implications, turning routine buying and selling into the core challenge rather than a supporting system. That premise gives Recettear its identity. Behind the bright anime presentation and light humor is a game built around time management, risk, and understanding how systems interact. It's charming, occasionally stressful, and more demanding than it first appears, even if some of its mechanics eventually start to show their limits. Crystal Project is a systems-focused JRPG that prioritizes exploration, combat structure, and player-driven progression. The game places you in a large open world where platforming determines access, letting you reach dangerous areas early if you understand movement and terrain. Combat is turn-based with visible enemies, clear turn order, threat management, and heavy reliance on buffs and debuffs, rewarding planning over grinding. Character growth revolves around a wide class system unlocked through exploration, with flexible switching that encourages experimentation. Equipment, passives, and skills interact meaningfully, creating strong build variety. While the story stays minimal, the cohesive design of its mechanics and world makes Crystal Project a rewarding hidden gem for JRPG players who value depth and freedom. WitchSpring R is a compact JRPG that stands out through strong system design and consistent pacing. The story follows Pieberry, a young witch living in isolation, and gradually expands into a conflict shaped by fear, religion, and power, handled with clarity and restraint. Exploration, crafting, and training are tightly integrated, giving the player steady control over growth without relying on grinding. Combat is turn-based but layered, using paths, turn order manipulation, and weapon evolution to support varied strategies. Visuals and music are polished and cohesive, reinforcing a focused experience that respects the player's time while offering meaningful mechanical depth. The Legend of Nayuta is a tightly designed action RPG that succeeds by knowing exactly what it wants to be. Its story is light but purposeful, following Nayuta's summer adventure across a fractured world defined by unstable seasons, and it stays engaging through strong character writing and a well-realized sense of place. Combat is fast, readable, and satisfying, built around clean swordplay, flexible magic support, and smart stage design that blends action and platforming without friction. Progression is steady and rewarding, encouraging exploration and revisits without padding. It's a focused, polished experience that delivers consistent fun from start to finish. Elin is a single-player sandbox RPG built for long-term play, and it excels by giving players space to settle in rather than rush forward. Its world supports optional quests, deep character growth, and flexible life simulation systems that reward steady involvement instead of constant pressure. Base building is unusually detailed, encouraging exploration to find rare materials and personalize a home that actually reflects player effort. Progression unfolds across many interconnected systems, from skills to crafting to world interaction, all moving at the player's pace. Elin succeeds as a game you return to daily, not for obligation, but because it feels good to exist there. ASTLIBRA revision looks rough, sounds uneven, and wears its indie roots proudly, but once you start playing, it becomes impossible to put down. Beneath its uneven presentation lies a deeply ambitious action RPG with one of the most rewarding progression systems in the genre and a surprisingly emotional time-bending story. What begins as a familiar tale of loss and destiny steadily escalates into something far more personal and far more strange, backed by combat that rewards aggression, precision, and mastery. ASTLIBRA Revision isn't just a cult curiosity, it's a genuinely great action RPG that earns your time and dares you to play it again. Alright boys, I think that's it for today. I know that there are other hidden gem JRPGs that I haven't mentioned yet, so how about sharing your best hidden JRPGs that probably deserve the spot in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe the channel if you don't want to miss another great list. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace!